My second night house sitting the Kellerman place, I walked to the kitchen at 2 a.m. for water and found someone already sitting at the table, eating quietly in the dark. I told myself it was a trick of light from the street, that my tired eyes were filling in shapes that weren't there. Then the chair scraped back, and whatever was in it stood up. Something felt off the moment I crossed the threshold, not wrong enough to name, just that low, animal certainty at the base of your skull that says pay attention. I stood in the entryway holding my keys, listening to the silence, and I almost turned around right then. I didn't. That is the part one will spend the rest of my life thinking about. I was 26, finishing my thesis on Victorian domestic architecture at UConn, and I had jumped at Professor Aldrich's offer to house-sit his tutor in Fairfield while he spent winter break in Portugal. 3 weeks alone in a real house, no roommates, no thin apartment walls, just quiet and space and a small stipend for utilities. I moved in on December 15th. I thought I was the luckiest person I knew. The first thing I noticed, I didn't even register as strange. My second morning there, I came downstairs and found the mug I had used the night before, the big green one with the chipped handle, rinsed clean and replaced in the cabinet. I stood in the kitchen for a full minute trying to remember doing that. I had no memory of it. I told myself I must have washed it half asleep. By day 4, the small wrongnesses were adding up. Each morning, the bath towel I had hung on the left hook was on the right hook. I know how that sounds, I know it sounds like the kind of thing you convince yourself you imagined. But I am precise. I work with primary sources for a living. I do not misremember which hook I used. Day 7, I opened the crisper drawer and found a block of aged cheddar I had bought at the Stop and Shop the day before. Still in its wax paper. Still wrapped with the rubber band I had put around it. But one corner was gone, a clean, careful bite, the paper folded back neatly, the rubber band resealed. I threw the cheese in the trash and stood in the middle of that kitchen with my heart going too fast and my hands completely still. I called my friend Dana from grad school and told her everything. She laughed, gently, but she laughed. Sleep eating, she said. Too much wine. Old house settling. The house was old, that part was true, a 1920s Tudor, 4 bedrooms, original plaster walls, radiators that knocked and hissed every night at 11. I went to bed that night and lay there listening to the pipes and nearly convinced myself she was right. On day 9 I came downstairs at 7 in the morning and the door at the end of the hallway was open. The basement door. Professor Aldrich had pointed it out on my walkthrough, said it led to the water heater, said the steps were uneven, pulled it shut, and I heard the latch click. That door was shut when I went to bed. I know because I had been checking every door before bed since day 4. I should have left the house. I know that now. Instead I stood at the top of those stairs for a long time, staring down into the dark, then turned on my phone flashlight and went down. The steps were uneven, just like he said. At the bottom, concrete floor, a water heater in the far corner, bare cinder block walls. And then my light caught something else. Against the left wall. A mattress. It was a twin mattress, low to the floor, with a folded sleeping bag on top. Beside it, a camping lantern, switched off. A gallon jug of water 3/4 empty. A duffel bag with clothes folded on top, jeans, a dark fleece, socks paired and stacked with a rigid, almost military tidiness. There was a corkboard on the cinder block wall above it, covered in photographs. I moved closer. My hand was shaking so badly the light bounced across the wall. The photographs were printed on plain paper, taped to the board in a careful grid. All of them were of me. Me asleep on the living room couch with the lamp still on. Me at the bathroom mirror in the morning, hair wet, face half turned. Me at the kitchen table with my laptop open, the blue screen light casting shadows on my face. All taken from doorways. All taken at night. The most recent photograph was in the bottom right corner. The date and time were printed small at the bottom of the page, the way they print when you export from a phone. December 23rd. 4:17 in the morning. I was in the photograph. I was in my bed, on my side, the quilt pulled up to my ear. 4 hours ago. I don't remember climbing back up those stairs. I remember being outside on the front porch in my socks in the December cold, shaking so hard my teeth were clicking together. I called 911 and I said there is someone living in the basement of this house and there are photographs of me and please come now. I sat on the front step and I watched the door and I did not go back inside. They found him in under 8 minutes. He had gone back into the basement. The responding officer said he was sitting at the bottom of the stairs in the dark when they opened the door. He did not run. He did not make a sound. They brought him out in handcuffs and I saw him for 3 seconds before they put him in the patrol car. He was in his mid-40s, clean-shaven, wearing a dark fleece that matched the one folded on the duffel bag. The detective who took my statement told me the man had been living in that basement for 6 weeks, meaning he had arrived before the professor left for Portugal, and had been there for every single minute of my entire stay. He had a key. A copied key that fit the back deadbolt. From the way he knew which floorboards creaked, which doors swung without noise, where each light switch was, the detective said it was clear he had been inside the house many times before he ever moved in. Before he left, the last detective to speak with me, a quiet man named Ramos, older, with reading glasses pushed up on his forehead, sat down next to me on the porch steps. He asked me almost gently whether I had ever heard anything in the walls at night. Scratching. Movement. Something that might sound like breathing. I told him yes. Every single night. I told him I had assumed it was the heating pipes. He nodded slowly and was quiet for a moment. Then he told me the house had a false wall on the north side, between the guest bedroom and the outer wall, about 18 inches of dead space running the full length of the second floor. They had found scuff marks on both ends. Fresh ones. It had not been the heating pipes. When investigators reached Professor Aldrich in Lisbon, he told them he had never rekeyed the locks after having work done on the house 2 summers before. A contractor had come for 3 weeks in July, plumbing and structural repairs on that same north wall. The professor couldn't fully remember the man's name. He had paid cash. No permit was ever filed with the county. Nobody at the local supply houses matched the description. The contractor had not been seen since that summer. I keep thinking about those 3 weeks in July. About what kind of work you would do to a wall if your purpose was not to repair it. About what you would leave inside it. The man they arrested has not spoken a single word since his first week in custody. They still don't know if he built that wall. They still don't know if he was the only one who used it. Professor Aldrich sold the house. He never went back to it. I don't know the arrested man's name. I don't know why he chose that house, or how long he had been watching before he moved in. What I know is that I spent 9 nights sleeping in a room with an 18-inch wall beside my bed, and something had been using that wall, and I never once felt like I was alone, because I wasn't. If you are ever house-sitting somewhere, or staying in an unfamiliar place where someone hands you a key and says you'll have the run of the house, pay attention to the small things. The mug in the wrong cabinet. The towel on the wrong hook. The sounds in the walls at night that you tell yourself are only the pipes. He knew which side of the bed I slept on. He had photographs of my face in the dark from every room in that house. Detective Ramos never told me what the man was waiting for, and nobody thought to ask before he stopped talking entirely. Some things are answered only in the waiting. And whatever he was waiting for, he did not plan to share it with anyone. That last story still turns my stomach, because I know exactly what it feels like to realize someone has been watching you, really watching you, and you had no idea. This happened to me in the fall of 2022, when I took a house-sitting job outside Billings, Montana. By the fourth night, I understood that the man in that house had known my schedule before I ever walked through the door. I just didn't know he was still there. I was 27, freelancing out of Billings, copywriting, mostly, for local businesses who needed website text and didn't want agency rates. Inconsistent income is a polite way of putting it. When my friend Danny mentioned that a couple she knew needed someone reliable to house-sit their ranch property for 3 weeks while they vacationed in Hawaii, I said yes without asking nearly enough questions. $700 plus utilities, a laminated sheet of instructions, and 40 acres of flat Montana land. What could go wrong? The property sat off Route 87, about 12 miles north of the city. A long gravel driveway, a 2-story ranch house, a detached barn, brown autumn grass rolling out in every direction. Harold and Connie Walker had left everything I needed, the gate code, the Wi-Fi password, the feeding schedule for the 3 barn cats, and a note about where the generator key hung in the mudroom if the power flickered. Connie had left a casserole in the freezer and fresh sheets on the guest bed. It felt cared for. It felt like a place where nothing bad had ever happened. The first 3 days were genuinely peaceful. I set up my laptop at the kitchen table, worked my usual hours, fed the cats at dusk, all 3 of them feral enough to bolt if I reached toward them. I walked the property in the afternoons, checked the water pressure in the east bathroom like Harold had asked, watched the sky go red over the flatlands at sunset. I called my mom. I slept well. I started to think I'd gotten lucky. On the 3rd night, I noticed the mudroom door wasn't latched. I was certain I'd pulled it shut. I always checked, it was just a habit, but the latch hadn't caught and the door was hanging open 3 or 4 inches, cold air pushing through the gap. I told myself the mechanism was old. I closed it, turned the deadbolt, and went to bed. In the morning, one of the barn cats was sitting in the middle of the kitchen floor. She had never been inside before. I had no idea how she'd gotten in. The 4th day had a wrong feeling from the start that I couldn't explain. Not threatening, exactly, just a held breath quiet, like the house was waiting for something. One of the motion sensor lights over the back porch kept triggering in a slow, patient rhythm that didn't match any animal I could identify. And when I went to use the landline to call about a spotty internet connection, the handset felt warm. Not room temperature warm. Warm like someone had just set it down. Harold called my cell at 9:42 that evening. His voice was warm and a little sheepish. Maui was beautiful, Connie had sunburned her shoulders, he felt guilty about leaving the cats. We talked about the gate code, the generator key, whether the water pressure had been behaving. He asked if I'd found the casserole, if I was eating enough, and he laughed easily when I told him the cat still wouldn't come near me. It was 12 minutes and 4 seconds, I checked the call log later, and when we hung up, I felt completely fine. More than fine. I felt safe. I made chamomile tea and settled in the living room with something low stakes on the streaming service, and for the first time since arriving I didn't feel the strangeness of being alone in someone else's house. I was in bed by 10:30, lights off, the flat land outside perfectly silent. I was nearly asleep when my phone rang again. 23 minutes after we'd hung up. The screen read Harold Walker. I answered with a small laugh, thinking he'd forgotten something. The voice I heard was his. I recognized it, but entirely different. Tight. Flat. Like someone measuring every word before letting it out. He said, "I need you to listen to me very carefully. I did not call you tonight." His phone had been stolen at the Maui airport 2 days earlier. He had been calling from the hotel landline. He had just spoken with the property's security company. There was a secondary interior door alarm I hadn't known about, one that wasn't on his laminated sheet, and it had been tripped 2 hours before I arrived. It had never been reset. Someone had come in before me. Then Harold's voice dropped to something barely above a whisper, and he said, "Do not go near the back of the house. Do not open the master bedroom closet. Get your keys and your shoes and leave right now." I was already in the hallway. I don't know when I stood up. I don't remember walking from the bed to the doorway. I was simply there, phone pressed to my ear, staring down a long dark corridor with the master bedroom door standing half open at the far end. A smell reached me that I hadn't noticed before, damp soil, something close and organic, the smell of a space that had never been aired out. And then every light in the house went out. Complete black. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. Harold was still talking. I could hear his voice in the phone, but the words had stopped reaching me. A sound came from the direction of the master bedroom. Soft. Just weight shifting on a floorboard. Then another step. Then another. I ran. I don't remember deciding to, my feet just went. I hit the wall at the end of the hallway, found the staircase railing by feel, and took the stairs in the dark. I burst through the front door into air so cold it cut into my chest like a blade. I didn't stop. I hit the gravel driveway at a full sprint, punched in the gate code without thinking, and I was on Route 87 before I registered that I was barefoot. That I was outside. That I was in a sleep shirt at 28 degrees in the middle of the night with nothing behind me but darkness. A Montana state trooper found me at 5:40 in the morning, walking the shoulder of Highway 87 roughly 3 miles from the property. I was conscious. I could tell him my name. I could not tell him what had happened in the preceding 4 hours, because I genuinely did not know. The last clear thing I remembered was my bare feet hitting gravel. Then his headlights. There is nothing in between, 4 hours of nothing, and that gap is what still keeps me awake more than anything else about that night. They searched the property that morning, full response, dogs, the works. Harold had already called it in from Hawaii. The house appeared undisturbed at first, nothing broken, nothing visibly ransacked. Then one of the K-9s hit on the master bedroom, and an officer noticed that the closet wall didn't sound consistent when you knocked on it in 2 different places. Behind a false panel at the back of that closet, they found a room. Not large, maybe 8 feet by 10, but clearly occupied for months. A folding cot with blankets. Stacked canned food, some of it dated from the previous winter. A small battery-powered radio. An extension cord run carefully through a gap in the wall, tapping into the house's electrical. It wasn't a hiding spot someone had used in a moment of desperation. It was a home. Someone had been living there, in silence, while other people moved through their days on the other side of the wall. On the cot they found a notebook. Lined paper, cheap spiral binding. It contained daily entries going back nearly 7 months, a record of every person who had stayed at that property since the previous spring. Their habits. Their schedules. When they woke and when they went to bed, what they ate, what they said on the phone, how they moved through the house room by room. The final entry was dated the morning I was found on the highway. It described me. It ended mid-sentence, in the middle of a word, as though something had interrupted the writer's hand. The man was never identified. I sold my apartment that spring. I moved to a different city, I won't say which one, and that isn't anxiety talking, it's a decision I made deliberately after consulting with the detective on the case. I didn't give my new address to my family for the first 8 months. I still don't post location-tagged photos anywhere. These aren't things that feel dramatic to me anymore. They feel like basic maintenance. Like checking the locks before bed. What I haven't told anyone, until now, is the calls. Not new ones. The same call. The original 12-minute call, the warm one, Harold's easy voice asking about the cats and the casserole and the generator key. It replays on my voicemail. Not from Harold's number, from numbers that don't exist when you try to call them back, area codes that belong to no region, strings of digits a carrier representative told me flatly were not valid formats. I have 31 of these recordings now. They come every few weeks, always at night, always the same 12 minutes. Whoever was in that room listened to every word of that first call. 12 minutes of me sounding relieved, sounding comfortable, sounding like someone who believed she was completely safe. And somehow, in a way no one has been able to explain to me, he is still sending it back. If you are ever alone in a house that isn't yours, and the phone rings, and the voice on the other end is warm and easy and everything sounds perfectly fine, let the second call go to voicemail. Because if someone already knows the number to dial, they already know everything else about you.
If you made it this far, you're not alone. There are more true stories waiting in the dark. Subscribe to the 3 AM archive and I'll see you at 3 AM.